Hello everyone, I hope everyone has been staying well. Today we are going to move on to our second lesson, and we are going to be talking about secondhand and third-hand smoke. So I have some resources again that I'm going to be using, such as this poster board behind me, and I also have some pamphlets that we're going to be taking a look at, and I have an activity at the end for you. So to get started, we will be discussing the dangers of secondhand and third-hand smoke and how they can impact your family, including the health consequences of secondhand smoke, pregnancy and secondhand smoke in your new baby, what to do if you live with a smoker, how to protect your kids from secondhand smoke, smoke-free cars and why they are important, third-hand smoke dangers, and again, I'm going to reinforce that you can get help and you can quit, and you can also encourage people that are going to be around you, your family, your children, that they can also get help and they can also quit. At the end of this video, I will give you information on who to contact locally at the health department for help quitting and more information on that. So to get started, we're going to take a look at this poster board behind me. Lots of good information here. This entire lesson has great information for you new moms and really everyone, people that are going to be around you, going to be around your children, your family. Lots of things to consider here. Maybe some things that you wouldn't think of right away or just haven't really considered before. So getting started, what is secondhand smoke and how can it affect your health? So secondhand smoke is also known as passive smoke or environmental smoke. And secondhand smoke is a combination of smoke exhaled by a smoker and the smoke that comes out of the lit end of a cigarette, a pipe, or even a cigar. So same nasty chemicals that the smoker inhales, the person that's taking in that secondhand smoke is also inhaling. And we're going to talk about this more in a little bit, but we talked about last lesson, we had the poster that showed if you're pregnant, what you take in, your baby takes in. So if you're pregnant, this is going to impact your baby as well. So, health effects. Back here, you can see that secondhand smoke causes cancer, also causes heart disease, lung disease, and then has many effects on children. So babies born to mothers who are exposed to secondhand smoke are more likely to be born with a low birth weight, and that can have many different health effects. Also, young children, infants that are exposed to secondhand smoke are at a higher risk of SIDS, or sudden infant death syndrome. And then secondhand smoke exposure in children can lead to asthma, bronchitis, colds, ear infections, respiratory illnesses. So many serious health effects, health consequences with the secondhand smoke. And over here, it really just reinforces that this is a long-term threat and there is no safe level of exposure to secondhand smoke. And protecting yourself and your family, your children, is very, very important. So a couple pamphlets that I have here, we're going to take a look at, brochures we're going to take a look at, and I'm going to pull some information from those for you. I have the health consequences of secondhand smoke. So there are some very, very serious health consequences with secondhand smoke. They can cause disease and premature death in non-smokers, full of the same cancer-causing chemicals that the smoker inhales. In our last lesson, we talked about how many cancer-causing chemicals are in cigarette smoke. So same thing with the secondhand smoke. You're going to be exposed to those same chemicals when you're inhaling secondhand smoke. So that's very, very important to think about. So there's actually a higher concentration of these toxic chemicals in secondhand smoke than the smoke that's inhaled by the smoker. So that's really serious to consider. Any amount, little or a lot, is harmful. Even a small amount can be very harmful. So, and then secondhand smoke actually causes around 7,000 lung cancer deaths a year. So secondhand smoke is also linked to sinus cancer, and studies have even shown that in women it can lead to breast cancer. So again, we talked about heart disease and lung disease as well, serious health consequences of being exposed to secondhand smoke. And some studies suggest looking at children and looking at infants, that children exposed to secondhand smoke have a higher risk of leukemia, lymphoma, and brain tumors. So infants and children exposed to secondhand smoke have a slower lung growth, and they're more likely to get the pneumonia, bronchitis, and other respiratory illnesses. And then, as we listed on this poster, the asthma attacks, colds, bronchitis, and even the increased risk of SIDS. So many health factors to consider that are linked to the dangers of inhaling secondhand smoke. So, talking specifically about pregnancy and secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke during pregnancy can harm your baby. Again, in our last lesson, we took a look at that poster that showed what you take in, your baby also takes in while you are pregnant. So the secondhand smoke that you breathe while you're pregnant, those chemicals can reach your baby. And the chemicals in secondhand smoke can cause your baby to be born too early or with a low birth rate. And those can lead to some serious side effects, such as health factors with that as well. It also increases your baby's risk of being stillborn, or having a higher risk of SIDS as well. So if you're pregnant, quitting is one of the best things that you can do. If you quit, your baby may be healthier, you maybe have a lower risk of being born too early or being born too small, and then have a lower risk of SIDS. It's really important that while you're pregnant, that partners and other people that are around you help make the home smoke free. They remind others that it's not okay to smoke around a pregnant woman or her baby. And it's also very important that they never smoke inside the house or never smoke inside the car. So they can really help out while you are pregnant. And of course, they can always help encourage you and be a support system for you. So, moving on, if you live with a smoker, I'm going to give you a couple things that you can do to start a conversation with someone that you live with that smokes. So, talking to the smoker is the first step. Everyone deserves to breathe smoke-free air at home, especially if you're pregnant, especially the children as well. So, you need to have a conversation with the person that you live with that smokes. And that might seem like a hard conversation, but there are a couple ways that you can begin that conversation. And really, it benefits everyone not to have someone smoking in the home. One way to start the conversation is to say, I want to figure out a way to help everyone in our house be healthier. Will you help me with that? Or, I care about you, but I'm worried that the cigarette smoke is hurting those of us in the house that don't smoke. And those are some ways to kind of start a conversation. You can ask that person if they've thought about quitting or have looked into quitting before. and just reinforce that them stopping smoking is the best gift that they can give you and your family, because it can help you all be healthier. You can help encourage that person to get help from a doctor or a healthcare professional and support them in any way that you can. Give them encouragement, remind them of why they should quit, remind them of all of the health effects and health consequences that we talked about in our previous lesson, and even some of the consequences that we've talked about so far in this lesson. So if the smoker is not ready to quit or is having a difficult time quitting, you can make an agreement that they will smoke outside of the home. We're going to get into the dangers of smoking in the house and third-hand smoke and how that can affect your family closer to the end of this lesson. But if that person is not ready to quit at this time, it is very important that they smoke outside. It's very important that if you smoke too, and we'll talk about this a little bit in a little bit, if you smoke, that you are not smoking in the house, that you are also smoking outside. Experts say that smoking in a different room, opening a window, or turning on a fan will not protect you from secondhand smoke. So it is important that the smoker actually goes outside of the house, not in a separate location. If that smoker is reluctant to go outside, don't give up. Insist that he or she goes to smoke outside and away from you and other non-smokers or other people. And ask, other people, ask other family members, other friends to help support them in that journey as well. So secondhand smoke and protecting your kids. Health risks are serious for children who are exposed to a parent or caregiver that smokes. So caregiver, we're even thinking maybe a babysitter, maybe another family member that's in close contact helping care for the child or around a significant amount. Breathing secondhand smoke can cause a child's lungs to not work as well. Children exposed to secondhand smoke are at a higher risk of asthma, allergies, colds, and ear infections, and can also cause pneumonia, bronchitis, and other respiratory illnesses. Again, if you smoke, do not smoke around your kids, and encourage others not to smoke around your kids either. It's really important. And again, making sure you have conversations with people. So we talked about having conversations with someone that lives with you that smokes, but also other people that are going to be around you and your children. Having conversations with them to make sure that they understand why it's important that they don't smoke around you if you're pregnant, or that they don't smoke around your children, in your home, or in your car. Smoking in the car is really dangerous on a couple different levels. So looking at it as a distraction, it can be a distraction. So, you take that time to light up that cigarette, pull out a cigarette, and you're taking your attention away from the road. Children can already be a bit of a distraction in the car. They can be talking, they can be crying, they could be asking for you. So adding one more thing can just cause hecticness. So it's better not to smoke in the car for a couple different reasons, one being distraction. Also, it's very dangerous, a small enclosed space, so your kids are going to be exposed to that high concentration of smoke, and that's very dangerous. So a couple tips that you can, or a couple tips for you to avoid that. You can just not put packs of cigarettes in your car, or you can not put a lighter in your car so that you don't have anything to light up those cigarettes, or you just don't have those cigarettes there. You can also try and talk to people that would be riding in the car with you. making sure that they understand you have a rule for the car, and that rule is to not smoke in that car. And again, making sure that they understand you can educate them on the health consequences of secondhand smoke and how that can affect you and can affect your family. So, moving on to third-hand smoke. And there was some information with this that I recently learned, and I think maybe this is something that not everyone thinks of right away, or maybe doesn't really consider all the time. Third-hand smoke refers to the toxins from tobacco that stay on surfaces. So if you've ever walked into a room, no one's smoking in there, but you can smell smoke. Or you sit on a couch and it smells like smoke. Those are examples of third-hand smoke. So it's all of that stuff, toxins, latch on to those materials on your couches, on carpets, on clothing, and they're very harmful. People can still be exposed to the same toxins found in tobacco smoke, and low levels of toxins can build up dangerous levels in the body and can cause learning problems for children. So thinking about infants specifically here. So if you have a shirt that has those toxins on them, when you're holding an infant, a very small child, you're holding them close to you. They are pressed right up against that clothing. And so they are just breathing all of those toxins in. Or even younger children, they play on the floor. They're crawling on the floor. That can get on their hands, and their hands are in their mouths, or even just breathing in those toxins from being so close. Same thing, they lay down on the couch to take a nap. Those can cause harm. Those toxins can cause harm. Babies have tiny lungs and they breathe rapidly. So more tobacco toxins get into their bodies. So those are things that are really important to consider for your family, for the health of your family. If someone's going to be holding your child that has been smoking, make sure they change their clothes. Make sure you don't smoke in the house. Make sure you do find that spot outside of the house to smoke if you're not ready to quit, or if others in your house are not ready to quit. Because it's really important. That stuff can latch on, all of those toxins can latch on to furniture, carpets, and surfaces and cause harm. So I'm going to go ahead and start to wrap up this lesson for today. Lots of information. I hope you learned something new, and I hope this was helpful for everyone. I am going to give you the contact information for a local resource. Allegheny County Department of Health Tobacco Cessation Program, Kathy Dudley. Her office number is 301-759-5050, and her email is kathy.dudley@maryland.gov. And the program that they offer, this program offers individual and upon request group cessation services from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. NRT lozenges and patches are available at no cost to Allegheny County adults. You just need a note from your healthcare professional, so your doctor, saying that it is okay. And I do have something fun, an activity for you to do, especially while everyone's in quarantine. This is a smoke-free word search, and then this will be sent to you as a separate document so that you can do this at your leisure. And you're going to be searching for words that are actually benefits of quitting smoking. So some of the things that we talked about in our last lesson, such as fresh hair, better eyesight, fresher breath, saving money. We talked about how expensive smoking really is, whiter teeth, and stronger muscles. So this will be sent to you in a separate document for you to do at your leisure. All right, this video was presented by the Cumberland YMCA through a grant from the Allegheny County Department of Health and Maryland Department of Health patch. So thanks everyone so much for watching, and stay well. Take care.